Welcome back to another lesson, another short lesson based on Dawson's activities for teaching research methods. It is often the case, it is always the case, that when we are in a classroom, our students, the students in our classroom, they have different learning styles to us. Some people like to be taught logically from the start to finish, step 1, step 2, step 3. They like to be taught the theory, and then they like to practice the theory, put the theory into practice. But there are others who have a more inductive research learning style, a more inductive learning style. And so doing some activities such as this, where we are learning, how to put the different pieces of the research puzzle together in different ways, is often helpful for some with different learning styles. And so we've got an activity, activity number 20, and this is from Dawson. You can have a look at this yourself. The book is on the Google Drive. We're going to be looking at this activity around choosing research methods. And so we'll go to full screen now. We'll go into full screen now. So work through the examples given below in your group and answer the following questions for each example. What data collections would you use? So we've done some work already on aims and objectives and research questions. Now, on the basis of your research question, what data collection methods would you use? What sampling methods would you use? If you haven't already engaged with the topic of sampling, it is where we collect our data from. It's the populations, and the sampling has to do with size and spread and how representative the sample is of the wider population. What recording methods would you use? If you're doing ethnographic work, you are doing a combination of producing field notes, recording with audio recorders, with still cameras on a mobile phone, or perhaps otherwise video recorders and others. How would you store the data you have collected? This is very, very, very important, and we're going to be talking more about this. But how would you do it? How would you analyze the data that you've collected? How would you analyze texts, photos, videos, interviews? How would you analyze field notes? What is the software that you would use? And how would you go about doing it? Consider the following. Is the research exploratory, descriptive, or causal? We need to work out what we are doing. So mostly if you're doing ethnographic research, it's really exploratory or descriptive. And we need to make sure that our research methods match with the type of research we are doing. Are you aiming to generate theory, test theory, or explore theory and match methods accordingly? Most ethnographic research generates rather than tests theory. Are the chosen methods appropriate to the methodology? Note well, for some qualitative research, it may be difficult to state the specific methods at the beginning of the project, as these might be developed, refined, or changed in the light of emerging themes. And that has been my experience time and time again. We begin, we have an idea, we have some aims and objectives, we have a research question, we start off with a research methodology, we spend time in the field, and we realised that actually we need new methods to collect different type of data. And so this last point is an important one. So what are some examples? Here's some examples of choosing research methods. This research seeks to identify, describe and produce an analysis of the interacting factors that influence the learning choices of final year undergraduate students who intend to go on to postgraduate study in the year that they graduate. So that is an example. This research seeks to evaluate the integration, effectiveness and cost of different models that deliver primary health care to homeless people. And we could go on, explore the role of women in novels. This research will seek to provide new social scientific explanations and theories of alternative cultural movements and activities in European cities. It will consider the development, use and closure of alternative cultural venues and sites after anti-squatting and anti-rave legislation. This research will test the assumption that taste is the primary reason for buying a new type of chocolate. Here are some other examples. Number 6, this research seeks to identify the causes and reduce the risk of language and literacy disorders in preschool children from disadvantaged backgrounds. So, let us go and work through the examples.